So in today's video, I decided I wanted to cover the Riot 848. The Riot 848 is the signature pistol that came out with Temple when Warframe 1999 was out with his big event. With that event, you were able to acquire all the blueprints for him and all the blueprint pieces for the Riot 848. Now, what is the gimmick with their 848? Well, the gimmick with the 848 is, well, when you shoot your weapon, you have 16 shots, and then when you reload, you'll recall those shots. When that happens, the recall will explode all the shots that you had landed on top of that enemy or the surrounding area. Now you may be wondering, how am I getting all my bullets back? Well, that's one of my accidental clicks for, what is his name? Oh god, I don't remember his name. I'll just call him by what his Warframe is. Sight. I accidentally picked up one of his, Quincy, that's his name. I accidentally picked up one of Quincy's things where if you have proc status, you will reload your weapon. So sadly, I can't really, reload the weapon consistently, but when I do reload, as you just saw there, it does explode and deal blast damage. Now you may be wondering, why am I hitting sometimes red numbers, sometimes yellow, orange? This weapon, while it does have a high crit, I haven't built it for crit. Instead, I went off of secondary innervate. So with secondary innervate, with secondary innervate, on every shot you deal, you'll get more of your crit chance going up, which is why you'll sometimes see me just hit a massive crit out of nowhere. Sometimes I won't hit him for a good bit. It's purely just, well, an increase in my crit chance naturally. Now, let's see what happens when this weapon goes up against a Acolyte. Alright, so the Acolyte is here. Let's see who we are going to be getting. Violence! Bring it on. Now, where are you at? Up here? Guess while we wait for them to appear, because I don't know where they are. We'll just shoot the randoms. There they are. I mean, that's not bad for me not being able to use the gimmick at all. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So, I will head back to the Simulacrum in a little bit, because that was even without using Arcane Arachne. Jesus. But I'll head back to the Simulacrum, and I will showcase the build there, and showcase it on 200 still past Scaldra? Yeah, 200 still past Scaldra. I'll see y'all back in the Simulacrum. So before we get into the actual build, I want to cover the base weapon by itself. It has an 8 fire rate, a mag of 16, a reload of about 1 second. It has really high fire rate. It feels real good because of that whole 8 number. It does primarily puncture damage with a 26% crit and status chance with a 2.2 times crit damage multiplier. And when you reload, it has basically all the same stats, except now it is 48 blast with a linear fall off of 100 directly to 50%, then it just scales from there because of the fact that it has a small blast radius. Overall, the weapon stats by itself are not bad at all. Now, let's go over the build itself. The build itself looks kind of different from what you usually see with my builds, but what we have here is pretty standard for a lot of weapons nowadays. Galvanized Diffusion, Galvanized Shot will most of the time be on a build no matter what. We have Prime Target Cracker for even more crit damage, Prime Convulsion for Corrosive, because we're using Pistol Pestilence on top of that, Magnetic Might for the crit damage and a little bit more of magnetic damage, Lethal Torrent for the fire rate, and Multi-Shot, because we all love more Multi-Shot, and we're using Hornet Strike for even more damage. We're using Secondary Innervate to give us on hit, increase our crit chance by 10%, and after we get 6 big critical hits, it will decrease back to 0, and then repeat the cycle. Overall, it's unbelievably nice and strong, as you saw, but what does it feel like on level 200 Steel Path enemies? Let's go find out. Alright, so let's do it without anything outside of just my Nautilus proccing his stuff. And, well, I mean, I'm killing already by itself without even having the reload. Let's just test it on the big guy, see that reload proc actually happen. So as you see, you do get a lot of blast procs on him, but since he does kind of ignore a lot of damage unless you hit him on his backpack, it's not exactly optimal for him, but you see it's still hitting really hard. Overall, I'd say that's quite nice, but what happens if I mix it in with some of Oraxia's abilities like her 4, and if I can get it to proc? Let's get Arachne on top of that. I mean, look at that. Let's try not to kill them. I mean, the blast nearly killed that one. Look at that. I don't know. I really like the weapon. While it is a little bit more gimmicky than the Kantare when it came with the throwing knives that came out with Jade, I think it still hits quite nice, especially for that dealing with Scaldra. But we are using Corrosive, so what is it like on, the Oracle? When it comes to the Oracle, I think it's a little better. If not a little worse, because of the fact that they do have They do take more damage when you use viral against them, but I mean, it's still killing pretty easily. Not bad, to be honest with you. And this build, I did get someone to test who does do 99999 stuff, and with how they did it, it did work there, so hey, at least it works there. I'll give you my final thoughts, though, when we head to the back rooms. And here we are back in the back rooms. So, overall, when it comes to the Riot 848, I think it is a nice, good pistol to have, especially since it does have a neat gimmick with its firing mechanism, where whenever you reload, the recalled shots will explode and return to the magazine, meaning you technically have infinite ammo. Now, overall, is it the best pistol? Probably not the best pistol ever. I still think the best pistol goes to the dual toxicist due to their Incarnon, how they function, how they feel. They're kind of just that good old blitz down an enemy type weapon, but the Riot 848 is very nice. Overall, I'd say it's worth getting and worth acquiring. The way to get it is you have to do the Solstice Square stage defense and hope it drops from that, or use the heartstrings you get from doing the mission and go to temple and buy them. Something I will need to remind you though of is if you have free shot, which is when you trigger a status proc, you have a 10% chance to reload the triggering bullet. It will break the weapon purely because, well, it's returning the bullet to you, so you don't get to reload the weapon literally ever. So it just breaks the whole reload gimmick on it. But if you guys want to see more videos like this and you want to see weapons or warframes, tell me them down below. I'll try my best to make sure I post that video or give you an idea in the comments. So once again, do tell me. I have a lot of things. You just have to ask if I can review it. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.